and welcome to Hockey Night in Australia. It is finals week, and I, for one, am very excited. I am joined tonight by Sean O'Connor and our very dear friend, Andrew Macdougall. Welcome back to Hockey Night in Australia. It's a bit of a blast from the past tonight. How you going?
Yeah. It's a throwback Thursday. That's what I was calling it during the week. And it's good. It's good to be on. It's been a huge season, as we were talking about before we came on. It's a bit of a grind, but we've got there, and it's been a good season. I think, like, it's competitive and all that sort of stuff, which we'll get into. But I'm happy to be on.
Very much appreciate your time, and I think you're spot on. There's been so much happen this year, so many storylines, so many interesting things that we've been able to discuss. And I for one am keen to get into it and look at last weekend and what's coming up. In this time tomorrow, we'll know one result and be watching the second. So, how are you, Sean? How are you going after the last weekend of hockey?
I'm good. I can concur with Andrew. It's like part of me is like, oh yes, it's the end of the season basically, and the other part of me is like, oh, it's the end of the season.
Yeah.
I was just thinking,
the AW is coming.
It is, but I was just thinking, it's finals because Sean's shifted into background O'Brien mode, so like it's finals.
This is where it's all at, right? We do have a comment to begin with here. We've got Anthony Russell, banners on the wall from the UK. Your meta moment is here, Doogie.
Go to sleep, Anthony. I don't know what he's doing up.
Loyalty is why he's up. Very much appreciate you, Anthony. You've been on every week.
He has every single week.
Look, we have so much to cover, so I am going to move us along straight into let's do a results review of last weekend, and we'll have a bit of a chat about that because so much happened. The two games that I paid attention to in particular were, of course, the North Stars games. They split the weekend. A big win on Saturday. Big milestones in Wahib Daj hitting his 500th point in style, shorthanded, breakaway goal, loved it, and on Sunday going down 4-8, but it was still quite a competitive game, and Tanner Hops just blindsiding the North Stars with I think it was 4 or 5 goals out of those 8, and that was quite a game. Standout game for you, Sean?
For me, oh man, the thing is about this last weekend is that you never quite know what's going to happen. I think for the fact that we actually had competitive games in the last round was amazing, and I think we've all talked about that quite a lot. But I was just blown away by the amount of big scoring games on the weekend. I was not expecting, 11-3, 11-1, 13. What is this? We've gone through so much of the season where that we haven't had, massive blowouts at all. But this last weekend, it all came together. What about you, Doogie? What do you think?
I think we all wanted the fairy tale, didn't we? Like with Adelaide, like heading into this. And I know. I think I joked about it with you two, like during the week. Like the conspiracy theorist in me was like, what would the Ice do for their crosstown rivals? Like playing against Adelaide, and the Mustangs needed some wins or some points. So yeah, that was sort of I suppose the results mostly overall is probably as expected. One of the standouts for me was the Sunday game, which Courtney just mentioned. Like I think the Lightning, off the back of losing 7 in a row, they needed that win heading at the finals, and obviously Courtney mentioned Tanner Hops, who's been outstanding. Like the season from Tanner Hops has been unreal. To get 5 goals to finish the season with the win heading into finals, who knows what that could do for the group.
I feel like though his season is kind of quietly crept up to being one of these major seasons in the AI. Like I don't feel like at any point he was particularly stand out, like so much better than everyone else in the league. But he just kept every week just applying more points, more goals, leading that sort of spearhead of that Brisbane team and their attack. And just absolutely 80 points, 5th highest ever in the AIHL. Amazing.
Considering sorry, I was just going to say, considering the start of the season, like with the Lightning for me anyway, was Jules Sterney was the one who, whenever I tuned in, I was like, yeah, that's the player I want to watch. And then when Jules had left, it was like, who's going to take over the mantle of like the scoring, etc. for the Lightning? And Tanner Hops has just exploded.
I mean, the weeks when Stoney was in that team, that Fab Five that they had going forward, oh my god, that was so good.
And just on Tanner Hops, I noticed through the week Brisbane Lightning socials were posting that's the first top point scorer that Brisbane have had at the end of a season. So that's really cool. Like they're still only their third year in. So it's nice to see the team just sort of hitting their stride and getting some of these really significant milestones that prove they're such a powerhouse in this league.
Yeah, totally. And yeah, I do agree with Doogie as well. I was hoping for the fairy tale of Adelaide being able to get into finals, at least, getting into that final game, right? It was a bit anticlimactic just what happened on Saturday with the Ice, but the Ice just proved, they had their own axe to grind, after losing Canberra last week. They wanted to come out and prove, that was just a blip. That's not what's going to happen at finals. They're here to play. And they absolutely decimated Adelaide on the weekend. Like it was, they were playing out of their skins. And David Booth for everything. He got how many points? I can't even remember how many points for the weekend, but he absolutely smashed it and skyrocketed up to the top of the Melbourne Ice scoring charts and within the top 5 of the league. And the highest points per game record now. So it was a big weekend.
He's made his mark.
Yeah.
And I think with Adelaide, like I put in my article yesterday, I think with Adelaide, and it's not going to mean much to adrenaline fans because they want to play finals. Like you sort of don't want to talk about it, and they're going to say, but we're not in the finals. But I think like the back half of this season, it felt like watching Adelaide. It was like you could see they were enjoying hockey again. They'd found something at the back end of the season where they were starting to get the wins, back-to-back wins as well, and starting to score. And it looked like the culture, they were really enjoying their hockey, and that was good to see. And you can only hope if you're an adrenaline fan, they carry that into 2026.
And I really think you could really tell just how much effort they were putting into every single game. Like those moments where I don't want to go in too hard because I might hurt myself or whatever. They just went, nah, we're just doing it. Every contest, we're there.
And I feel like Adelaide were on the back foot a little bit from the start. From memory, they were maybe 2-3 weeks behind the rest of the league, where everyone else had got a start and got a few games under their belt. They were delayed. So I almost wonder, had they had an opportunity to play that 2-3 weeks earlier, would they have found that stride 2-3 weeks earlier and had a different end of the season? Maybe those points would have been slightly higher. Like it's interesting, but
yeah, and I do think it's hard though, also because they also didn't have their full roster for a lot of the season, so that always hurts you, and that always becomes a very disjointed season for you. Canberra's experienced this too. Other teams have as well. I think it took a while for Newcastle to get all their inputs in this season as well. So it's not uncommon for teams, but it hurt Adelaide quite a lot, and it took a little bit of time to even get Dolan into the country as well. So they were playing without their first choice goaltender for the first number of games, and that hurts as well.
And I think he settled into the season, Sean. Like he won, I think 6 out of the last 10 on the season, Dolan. So I think he started to settle into. Because I suppose with imports, you don't know how long it's going to take to settle into the country too. You're flying from one side of the world to the other, and Australia is a totally different beast in terms of hockey, probably anywhere else in the world, and how it's played, and the level of the sport here or the league here. So it took a little while for him to settle in, but at the back end of the season, the last 10 games, he was pretty good.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I agree. And it's one of those things. I don't know what's going to happen next year with Adelaide, but you'd hope there'd be a bit of continuity with some of their imports. That would be probably very helpful for them. But yeah.
There's a great comment from Anthony saying, Adelaide, let's go for the theatrical ending, Melbourne, and that ending is Hamlet. Sorry, Adelaide fans. We do very much hope you have a better 2026. And same for the Rhinos. Like they've put in some solid games, had some close games. So there's certainly no team in this league that doesn't belong. Everyone's playing well.
They also iced a huge number of young players the Rhinos, which should hopefully, like Adelaide have the last couple of seasons of ball, should hopefully translate into more experience, better seasons ahead, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We touched on scoring leaders briefly, but I thought we'll just throw that graphic up real quick to see the final five. Tanner Hopp's just blasting away from that 60 mark and ending up on 80, which I think is amazing. Yu Higasaka was kind of out, Mr. Big Time. He was up there for a lot of the season, so ending on 68 is certainly not anything to be upset about. And everyone's over 60, so I think that's pretty incredible. Like getting that amount of points in 28 games, that's not an easy feat.
Yeah, and if you actually look at the top 10, 12 players, the top 10 all got over 50 points. And then we had 8 players who got 60 plus points, which is a new league record as well. The previous record was from 2011, where there were 7 players. So, and the Swedish guy for Newcastle, I can't remember his name, Kim
Tolberg.
He finished on 59, so he was very close to getting in that 60 club as well.
And that's no easy feat. Like we were talking, games weren't blowouts until this weekend just gone. So when you've got games that are, 4-3 and 5-2, like that's not a lot of goals to get that many points. So they're contributing. These players are contributing so much, not just as goals, but in those assists every week to get there, which I just think that's so impressive.
And Yoko Murder won, and it was funny, Andrew John Egan, who's in this, he tunes into this show a fair bit and drops some comments in there. He commented on one of my social posts yesterday. Erdogan had 45 assists this season. And that's a fair bit. Like that's the most he's ever had in the AI since he's arrived, which is like, when you look at him, you usually think of him as a goal scorer. But it seems like he's...
when his Rhinos days, the season Rhinos, like it was all about the goals, right?
Yeah, which is, it's a bit different this season with the way the Melbourne Ice is set up. He's now sort of feeding and creating, I suppose, for other players on the team.
Yeah, you do see that around the league. I actually think about, I look at the Canberra scorers this year, right? So Canberra obviously didn't get anyone inside that top 10 point scorers this season, but they share around so many points and so many players end up with huge amounts of assists, but not that many goals because it's everyone is contributing in that sense.
We hit quite a few significant milestones, like I touched on a minute ago, and the big one being, I think, Wahib Dage. I still get it wrong. Look, 500 points is phenomenal, and I believe he's about 110 or so behind Greg Oddie, who is the league leader in points. And I'm definitely going to try and have a chat to Wahib this week because I want to find out if he's got a few more years in him to try and crack that milestone. But yeah, I think this one was phenomenal, and he's such a beautiful human. So I was pretty excited to see this one hit so well.
Yeah, what did you think, Diggy, about Dage's season, or Dage's season? Sorry.
If you're in the conversation next to Greg Oddie, you're going pretty well, I think. And I've mentioned it a few times that Greg Oddie's the best player I've seen play in the AI. Absolutely phenomenal. And if Wahib Dage is in that conversation, had a fantastic career. And you just got to look at the history. I think it's 14 years or whatever it was. I put in my article, I think 14th season and good all cups and playing for multiple teams. And I suppose, Sean, when you're on my show recently, we were talking about Liam Webster. Just the durability to play in the AI for that long to get 500 points, because it's not easy. It's a short season. It's a long layoff. It's pre-seasons. It's an amazing accomplishment, and a terrific person, terrific player.
Yeah, totally agree. What a champion, and he's been a champion and such a important player for 3 different teams, which is hard to do. Like you can sometimes be really important for one, go somewhere else, and you become a squad player, right? Like part of the team, but not the main player. But he seems to have become a very important part of every single team that he's joined.
And I know, Courtney, you would have watched the games. The way he did it on the weekend, the hat trick, and it was unbelievable performance.
He plays incredibly smart hockey. He's not just running away with it and kind of fluking it. You can tell that he's very systematical, thinks about it, and the North Stars do really well to work in their lines really well. They've gelled, and anytime you talk to a player, they will credit their line mates before they'll take the credit themselves. So I very much love that about them.
So we have some comments here. So here is Andrew John Egan, Odie Darge McDougall. I mean, yeah, what a trio.
Well, I'm currently 500 points behind Dargate at the moment. So I've got
Only
a lot
matter
of
of
work
time
to
to
do.
catch up, mate. We did also have another one here. So Chris Langille is here with Hikasaka takes the all-time season points total. This is for Perth from Pierre Oliver Grand Maison from 2009, total of 67 points. So yeah, he did have a massive season this year. He was in that top 2 in the point scorers almost the entire season, really. It was basically between him and Timmins for a long time, and then him and Tanner for like the last part of the season. But phenomenal record, and Perth have been very happy to have Hugh Ikasaka back this season. He really seems to have grown into that position as well within the team. Jiggy, what have you thought about Hikasaka's rise, I suppose, this season compared to last?
He's a fan favourite. I know that much after being in Perth on the weekend. They absolutely love him there. And you can see why. Excitement machine. And obviously, I think Courtney, was it Mr. Big Time? I think it's what?
Yep.
Mr. Big Time. Just the way he shoots the puck and can score, it's exciting for fans going through the gates. And he's been a revelation, not just for the Perth, for the AI with Asian players coming into the competition. I think it's been fantastic for the league to have Yu Hikasaka and Tatsuya Shida, etc., coming into the competition. It's funny that Chris Langille is in the comments because I had a chat to him after the game on Sunday about Yu Hikasaka and the Thunder, because Yu's got 36 goals, I think, or something, and the next best is like 15 or 16. And you did wonder, can Perth score or win the cup without Yu scoring big goals that Courtney backs you in every single weekend? Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. And on the weekend, they proved that they could put the puck in the net without you actually being that dominant scorer. So, but he's been fantastic, and he's a fan favourite there at Perth.
Yeah, I do think Jones being back actually gives them a lot more dynamic, especially going forward, because he just seems to he gets really stuck in, he gets assists, he gets goals. Sometimes, that can be missing if you don't have that target man, but I very much enjoy watching Perth this season. They're very exciting team, and they should be quite dangerous in finals.
Yeah,
so I do have another message here about Dargay before we move on. Mad to think it's been 9 years since Dargay last played here in Peterborough, and he is still rolling at a high clip. The Aussie legend category with Odie Webster and others. Yeah, totally agree, Anthony.
So we had a couple of other milestones that I think worth covering. So North Stars ones, obviously, I'm fully aware of. One being Charlie Smart hitting 150 games, which is no easy feat for a local goaltender. I think that's incredible, and 100 of those have been specifically with the Newcastle North Stars. So he's definitely well loved in our rink and up here in Newcastle. So big congratulations.
What team did he play before Newcastle?
I don't know. I've been asked that twice, and I still haven't looked it up.
I thought he's played his entire career in Newcastle. There you go.
Well, he's from Perth, so I wasn't sure if he'd done some early years with Perth. I'll do a quick Google in the background while we're talking.
So why you do that? I'll roll off the other milestones from the weekend. So another Newcastle one, Casey Kabara, 300 points. Again, he is absolutely rolling in this league, has been phenomenal again this season for his new team. Diggy, what have you made of Casey's career so far, and change to Newcastle, and how that's transpired?
Well, just Mr. Consistent, like every single season, you're going to get out of Casey. Like it doesn't change really. Like going from the Brave to Newcastle, it's still the same. It's, you know, your 50 odd points or whatever that he puts up, and you know, on any line, it doesn't really matter who the line mates are for Casey. You know what you're going to get, and obviously for the North Stars, Casey's going to be super important for this finals run if they want to win the cup. They had a fantastic season again, and it's not always easy. It's not always easy switching clubs and moving to a different area, things like that. It's all those sorts of things that you got to take into consideration when you're thinking about players changing clubs. It's not just putting on a different uniform. There's so much involved that could affect your on ice performance. But he's just same old Casey.
Yeah,
100%.
Spot on. I mean, he's such a good guy.
It's so true. And yeah, he's Mr. Consistent. So it doesn't surprise me to see him rack up such a high amount already in his career in the AI. He has been phenomenal since he ever joined the league. And yeah, just continues to bang them in. So I'll move on to the next two. Okay, Courtney, do you have an answer?
I do have the answer. I'm terrible at reading the elite prospects years, but I think it looks like 2015 he was with Adelaide Adrenaline, 2016 he was with Sydney Ice Dogs. So in those years, that North Stars were winning the cup those 2 years, and we had Dane Davis.
Of course.
So he joined North Stars in 2017.
There you go.
Yeah.
So the other two, which are also century points milestones, was Alex. I can never say his last name properly. Does someone want to have a go? Gautier, yeah. Who's been on loan at the Rhinos this season from the Bears, and yeah, has been phenomenal for the Rhinos this year. He racked up a lot of points for them. Was leading their scoring charts for a lot of the season, and yeah, he became a very important player at Arena. And lastly, defenseman Jamie Woodman, been around forever, 100 points for Perth Thunder. That's longevity for you. For when it comes to a defenseman to rack up 100 points, that's no easy feat. So yeah, again, I think of consistency. I think of Jamie Woodman as well. Like, he has been phenomenal in this league for so many years. Even like the year, like he played for Canberra for like one game or something like this, and yeah, yeah, what a champion.
Also, when you think about that, Sean, like a season out of the AI too, like playing for the Avalanche in the PHL, to still get to 100 points. So yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, I think we said the same thing about Webster as well, like, because he also had the year out with the PHL and came back, and yeah, it's got, became the all-time was it games record holder this year in the AIHL. So yeah, it's amazing that these players have this longevity.
Yeah. So I think that was the last one, Sean, of milestones.
That's the last one.
Cool. All right. Well, let's jump into what I'm sure we're all keen to talk about, which is this coming weekend. As I mentioned, 24 hours time, we'll know the result of one, and we'll be most of the way through the second game. Actually, no, we'll be 5 minutes away from starting the North Stars game, which I'm looking forward to. So let's throw up. Do you want to start with the fixtures?
Yeah, we can do that.
And then maybe our predictions for how those games will look. So afternoon, kicking off Mustangs versus Thunder. Second game, Lightning versus North Stars. I'm keen for both because for me, Friday night, every team's got a story. Whoever wins, there's a storyline to that win, getting them into Saturday. So I'm keen for hockey. So as much as I'm a North Stars fan, I'm very much looking forward to both. So Diggy, do you have a matchup that you're most looking forward to?
I suppose being a Mustangs fan, even though I'm not going to be able to be there because I'll still be doing my full-time job, unfortunately, that's going to be a big game just for the simple fact that, like last weekend in Perth, when the group of Mustangs fans were there watching the game, you look over to the bench and you're looking to the change rooms and thinking, is anyone else coming out of this change room? Because that bench is really small. So I'm not sure who is available. I suppose we don't get any information, do we, in terms of injuries, etc. So you don't know who's available for what team heading into the final. So it's sort of a guessing game, really, unless you're well connected, like Courtney is, Sean. But that Mustang Sunday one's going to be massive, because I said to some Mustangs fans on the weekend, like, even though there was back-to-back losses, the Mustangs on their home ice, they can show up and dominate and beat you, like, on their day. So who knows? And obviously the Lightning coming off that one win, and Courtney, you know how big I am on the North Stars this season. I think they can win the cup. That's going to be really interesting too, with the Lightning with a bit of confidence heading into the Friday games.
Yeah, the Friday games are really hard to predict who is actually going to win. And like, I must admit, it's so weird that they are the exact repeat of the matchups that we had the final weekend of the regular season.
Yeah.
And we got to, and after Brisbane had won their Sunday game, we went into that final game between the Mustangs and Perth. And I'm going, it doesn't matter which team wins. We end up with the exact same ties in, the preliminary finals.
So, yeah, I think that keeps it interesting for the teams. So, as you said, Lightning might come into it with that momentum, feeling confident. But I spoke to the North Stars coach through the week, and they're really happy with the pool that they're in. They're feeling confident. The guys are feeling strong, so they're on their way to Melbourne tonight. And it's just like the entire season. It's anyone's game. It's a one game, you're in or you're out at this point. It's elimination, and it is so hard to predict what it's going to be. And I kind of like that. I'm kind of like that it's not that team's stronger than that one. It's no, either one can put the show on for the fans. So
I do have a question for you guys. When it comes to both the Ice and the Brave entering in on Saturday and having Friday off, where do you guys land? Is that an advantage or a disadvantage?
I mean, as far as it went for North Stars last year, it didn't work out. So
I don't think it worked out for the Bears or North Stars last year.
No, both were eliminated. And it's hard to say. The extra night rest you would assume would help, but it comes down to who is ready at puck drop and willing to fight for those goals and just attack from the first moment all the way through that 60-minute game.
I suppose with the Melbourne Ice, I suppose it doesn't really change much, because it's their home rink, and it's just like any other weekend, really. They're sleeping in their bed. They've got their family when they wake up, all that sort of stuff. It's sort of business as usual. With the Brave, I think it's probably whenever they fly in. I'm not sure if they flew in last night. They flew in today. It's getting settled before the Saturday, having a good night's sleep and getting together as a team and going out for dinner, all that sort of stuff that creates the culture, I suppose, for the finals. That's sort of the main. I'd love to know, like, it'd be cool if Tristan could find it out too, Sean or Courtney, like how his teams perform at O'Brien, like over a sort of a stretch of history. Like, that'd be interesting.
Oh, he will have that.
Well.
Yeah, he has like the sort of results per venue. Yeah,
just the ice and the size and all that sort of stuff. It'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, I agree. And actually, Eric touched on this as well this week in AI Fans. He posted a question to people about what they think teams would prefer to play at home in your home barn or away, being in that sort of bubble kind of mentality. And like I said, there's advantages and disadvantages to both, right? Like, that bubble can be really good to get everyone focused and pulling together, but equally your home barn, the ice, the arena, you have your same normal routine as opposed to doing something different. Like, that could be a massive advantage as well. So I think it's a much of a muchness, really.
If I could throw a quick question at you two, it creates that conversation, I think, of should the AI have a 3-game final series where you get a game on your home deck and then the highest ranked team gets 2 home games to decide the cup over 3 games?
I would love that. I think that would be awesome. And I know the Ice Hockey New South Wales League here does that with East Coast. And I think the seniors played 2 games, which to me is still better than 1. One and done just after such a big season. That's the top league that we have in the country, or like top men's league we have. 1 and done is always going to just not feel like enough.
Though 1 and done does give advantages to the lower ranked teams, because you can just have a great day and you can win and advance. Whereas if you play a 3-game series, the more consistent team, bigger team's probably going to win.
Yeah.
But I agree. There are lots of, in hockey, it's such a culture to have multi-game series. I know in the New Zealand Ice Hockey League does it. I'm not sure if they go to both barns. I have a feeling they just pick one barn and then they help compensate the team that doesn't have a game in their own barn. It would. I've vouched for it before. I think that you could definitely create a multi-week system for finals if you wanted to. You could even shorten the regular season to make sure the overall season doesn't get affected. But yeah, I guess that's something for the future, which can be considered. I know there's a lot of people that call for it. So yeah, I wouldn't be unhappy either way.
Yeah. There's a solid comment from Anthony Russell. The issue with a 3-game final series is if a team ends up needing to fly Jetstar and the kit doesn't appear.
Look, and there's so many reasons why a 3-game series hasn't been implemented, right? Like buying ice time and knowing what ice time you need in this league is so important because it gets booked out so early.
Yeah.
It's hard to, you don't know who's going to be in finals at the start of the season, right? So, and then, all the expenses of traveling, because, if you're Perth, having to travel back and forth from Perth, that's going to be hugely expensive. And that's, the same in, Canberra and stuff like this too, where it's not the cheapest airports to be flying in and out of.
No.
But yeah. I love the idea. I would love to see it, even if they just tried it, just to see if it would work. Yeah, and see Anthony Russell. Yeah. The NZIHL is a 3-game series at the barn of the higher seed team. Yeah. So I know they also do that in the NZWIHL as well, the women's league, and they have 4 teams.
Well, maybe with the AIS Arena success, they can just pick a Hisense or a Newcastle Entertainment Centre or something and just say, that's where the final is going to be. Let's build the rink there. 3 games. Doesn't matter what teams.
Can you imagine if we could actually get like 20,000 people to finals? The problem with the finals weekend, I love finals weekend. I love the festival experience that it brings, especially for fans. But you will find that you will sell all your tickets essentially, but you won't get full barns for every single game because you'll have people that will only go to watch their team play, and they've got tickets for all games, but they're not going to go to the other games.
I find that weird.
It creates a weird. Sometimes it can create a weird atmosphere at some of the games. That's all.
Yeah. I actually expect that to happen over the weekend. I remember last season there were empty seats on certain games, and then they'd be full, particularly around the North Stars fans. I'd go and sneak an empty seat, but then the next game it was used. So I think we'll still see that this weekend in spite of it being condensed.
Yeah, so we've got a few comments here about finals. So one from Steve Moller first. Looking forward to every game this weekend. Hell yeah. Bring on all the games.
Happy birthday, Steve.
Is it Steve's birthday, is it?
Yeah, it is.
He's kept that on his
happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday. Andrew John Egan took the day off work to get to games tomorrow, getting around Perth and Brisbane Vegas. Yeah, and I think that they're 2 teams that everyone might have as their second team, for the finals. I think everyone would love to see a new team score a win.
Yeah.
There's only one reason Andrew is getting behind Perth.
Why? What's that?
Because he's a Melbourne Ice supporter. It's the only reason.
Yes, well, there is that too. Yes. Look here. Thanks, team. No problem, Steve. Anytime. Right.
Do we want to jump into our predictions for the weekend and who's going to go all the way through?
All right. So
I'll go
first,
first.
you want to go? You want to go first?
Yeah.
You want to find your
Look,
one? Yep. Here we go.
It's not a mystery that I am a North Stars fan. So, having not picked one up since 2016, I think 9 years is long enough. It would be great to bring Mr. Goodall back to Newcastle, and I think doing that against the Brave would be a lot of fun because there's such a good rivalry between the fans and these two teams when we play here, when we play in Canberra. That bringing that to life down in Melbourne would be great. That'll be my top pick. And there's a
Battle of
storyline
Nowhere
there.
final. I think that was the 2016 final as well, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure Newcastle beat Canberra.
Yeah, correct. So there's a storyline either way. Like a team going back to back doesn't happen often. So Brave winning it, we've got a story. North Stars winning it first time in 9 years, and then adding a seventh to our current six, keeping them as the winning the most in history will be lovely always. So that is my picks.
I did see a comment earlier today on one of our socials where someone's like, "Yep, seventh's coming up."
Yeah.
And it would be Casey Kabara against the old team, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. And I mean, Wahi Dage as well, right? Like, you know, two of Canberra's all-time great scorers, and they now both play for the North Stars and have been ripping it up there. All right. Shall we move to Doogie's predictions?
Sure.
Here we go. Doogie, explain
away. Well, I've gone Thunder over the Mustangs. As much as it hurts me, I think the Thunder might be a bit too strong. The Mustangs have just struggled for a bit of consistency this season. And I think they're a transition season. There's a lot of young players in that Mustangs team that are getting a go, which is good for the future. But I think the Brave will beat the Thunder. And I think the North Stars will beat the Lightning. And then the Ice will be too strong for the North Stars. And it'll be the Brave and the Ice. And it's not because I'm a Mustangs fan that I'm picking the Brave to beat the Ice. It's a lot. I said this to Eric Bolney last night. I was having a chat to him. It's very much vibes with the Canberra Brave for me. I know you touched on it, Sean, about how they spread the load. Like there's not one sort of standout point scorer or goal scorer. When I was at AIS Arena and they gave me that behind the scenes sort of access to shoot my video, they're business-like, the Canberra Brave. Like there's no panic. They know what job they need to do. They don't stress. They know each player knows what their job is out on the ice, and it's very business-like. And the vibe I got for them is like they're just a solid team. Like they're not going to panic in the big moments, and I think they're going to go back to back.
Yeah, even like at the start of the season when the Brave aren't performing as well, like last year as well as this year, they seem very calm overall. Like it's going to come together. It's going to be good. You know, just give it time. And I could see that. I think that your final prediction of a Ice Brave grand final, I think a lot of people are predicting this, but I could see it happening. But equally, I could see Courtney's as well. And there is a comment here I do want to get to first. Andrew, are you picking Brave because Kerry never sent in that book?
Absolutely. I'm still dirty with Kerry Goulet for that book.
What book?
I've got a Paul Rosen who's out here with Kerry. He's got a book, Paul Rosen, and Paul gave it to Kerry before Kerry left Canada to head to Australia before the season or whenever it was, and it's been flying with Kerry. It's got its own passport now, so the Kerry. It's been flying across the world with different places. So I'm getting it off Paul Rosen tomorrow. But that's what Andrew is talking about with the book.
All right, we'll move on to my predictions. I know you guys haven't seen this yet. I'm going for the spoiler predictions, you guys. So I'm going for a first-time winner this year. It's going to be a Perth Lightning grand final. I think there's just going to be surprises all this weekend. And yeah, I'm going for a Perth first-time victory. I think, they've made one grand final before in 2019. They came close, just not enough this time. I think it's just again, I think it's vibes. I think they've just got it. I would probably normally pick the Brave to make the final, but if you actually have a look at their history, they won in 2018, lost in 2019, won in 2022, lost in 23, won in 24. They're bound to lose this year. If they just follow the same pattern, they cannot win. So this is why I'm going with someone new. And I just think that there could be some major upsets, and we could get a first-time winner.
Oh, interesting. I like it.
I did like the fact that we all picked a different winner as well. I think that was pretty cool.
It's not that wild to me, Sean, because like the Thunder have been knocking on the door, and their style that they play, like we've talked about it, Sean, like they play a bit like the Melbourne Ice. Like they're very on edge, in your face, physical, but not just physical. They can go down the other end and score against you and score heavily. Like they're a pretty stacked team when you think about the Thunder. So it's not surprising that you've picked them, to be honest.
Yeah, and they can score so many goals, and they have such a the thing when I think about the Thunder most though is I think their defense. They've got such a stacked local defensive lines that they've built over a number of years now. It's just so good. So yeah, I think there's a good chance.
They'll get Toivonen back this week. So that's going to be a massive injection into their lineup.
I mean, you have the national level goalie on your side. You're going to feel confident to play in front of him.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's been a big player for them this year, even though he's racked up a lot of air miles this year, traveling from Canberra to Perth quite often. So, it's been a phenomenal season for him, and I'm sure he'll have a good finals. He does usually play quite well in finals. So, good luck to him. Okay, all right. Banished from the AIS. Don't hate me, Canberra fans. Don't hate me. Come on. I'm of course going to be cheering on the team, but predictions. I just vibes. It's all about vibes this year.
And just on Toivonen before we move on, he's the only goaltender with 2 shutouts this season. So the potential to blank a team, which in finals can be absolutely massive, as we've seen with Liam Hughes and the Mustangs when they won the Cup.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
So I want to just quickly jump to how people can watch the finals. So Friday night's 2 games will be on AIHL TV in full. And then Saturday, Sunday, they will be going to ESPN. So you will be able to watch via ESPN, Foxtel Go, Fetch, KO, and Disney Plus. And if you're in New Zealand, on Sky Sport. So some great opportunity there to just expose the league to people that still out there go, oh, we have ice hockey in Australia, because it keeps happening. So tell your friends and family, let them know that if you've got that Disney Plus subscription, put it to use on Saturday and Sunday. They're going to be some incredible games. And I for one am feeling very lucky that I get to be there in person, because there's nothing quite like finals atmosphere. But yeah, so make sure you're watching AIHL TV or via ESPN on any of those platforms, because these are the games you don't want to miss. Finals hockey is the next level.
What did you actually make of the announcement of ESPN?
I think it's great for the league to have ESPN and have all these places to be able to watch the game. There's going to be a lot of people, I guess, who've never seen the sport before, or they might have had a overseas trip to the US or Canada and ducked in to watch a hockey game, and that's sort of the end of it. They've never watched hockey before, and they might tune in on the weekend and not understand anything that they're watching. But the one thing that they will get out of it, and hopefully for the AI, is with the ESPN and, as Courtney said, New Zealand, Sky Sports, all that sort of stuff. You can only hope that it brings in a new sort of demographic of fans, someone new who has never seen the sport before, because even if they watch it and they don't know exactly what they're watching, they're going to be entertained. As Courtney said, it's finals. The atmosphere is going to be off the chain because it always is. Like at O'Brien, it's 6 deep behind the glass and all that sort of stuff for finals. Like the atmosphere is going to be unreal. So yeah, it's going to be massive potentially it can be massive for the AI. So we just, I suppose, wait and see. But it goes back to the other, I suppose, conversation is, yeah, it's going to be great and bring in more fans, but where do you put these new fans when you can't fit them into the arenas because they're already sold out every single weekend?
Yeah, and we've seen this like exponential growth around the league when it comes to supporter bases. Like I've remarked before about before Macquarie closed for its renovations this year on year, both the Ice Dogs and the Bears have been attracting more and more fans, filling out Macquarie, which is a big area, right? Like, I don't know if you guys have been to Macquarie, but it's a big stadium. And like, I've just been loving seeing that growth, right?
Yeah.
And then Canberra, obviously, this year going to the AIS, you know, there was so many unknowns about how it would go. Like initially it was like, oh yeah, they'll sell out the first game because, you know, it's an event, right? But, you know, then it'll probably settle back into something like, you know, 2,000 people or something like this, just 1,800 or something like this, because, you know, they're coming from a base of, you know, 1,000 or just under 1,000. It's going to take a bit of time to grow, but then, yeah, they were able to sell out every single game, which is massive. And you saw that around the league, like Melbourne games, they're always sellouts these days, where I remember when I first started, that wasn't the case.
Like, I think, like, I don't know what you two think, and I'd like to get Courtney's thoughts, because when I went to Newcastle, I love that barn. I really do. I think it's such a cool hockey barn, and it seems to be packed out every single weekend.
The mezzanine level really adds to it too.
Yeah, but when you see like the AIS and stuff like that, and all these rinks getting sold out, I think it does highlight, because there's always that discussion about Australian goalies and things like that, and should they be playing Aussie goalies. I think it does show that it's an entertainment league at the end of the day. People want to be entertained, whether or not they're hockey fans or not. In Canberra, they've heard wind about this entertainment product that's AIS Arena, and it's selling out 3K. So that's what the league is at the end of the day. I think AIS and arenas like that sort of highlight that it is an entertainment league at the end of the day.
Very, very much so. A lot of people have been getting a few fans, particularly in Newcastle, that they want that action they want people getting hit. They want the brawls. They want the fisticuffs. They're coming for that excitement, but they do stay for the hockey. So when they get those little bits, they're in enough that they're what they get, they're happy with. And you're not wrong. We've been really lucky in Newcastle. Every week we are selling out, and as the season progressed, it seemed to sell out earlier and earlier. So it was 1 or 2 days before a game and became sort of stretched out to 3 and 4. By the end of the season, the last sort of 3 games, they were sold out week and a half, 2 weeks before the game. So people hear about it, we're getting their attention, and they're showing up. So
yeah, I was amazed at the fact that I had friends that might want to have come to some Brave games this year, and I couldn't organize tickets for them necessarily because all the tickets were sold out on the week, right? Which is when most people go, oh, what am I doing this weekend? Oh, I could organize something. Whereas with the hockey this season, because it's been so popular, you had to think weeks in advance to be able to get a ticket, right? I mean, that's great, but also, yeah, it kind of shows we're kind of at capacity limits now around the league. Like Perth is always packed out, all of these, even Adelaide, like they built extra places so that they could fit more people around that rink. Yeah.
That for me is, I think, emphasizes where the product of AIHL TV needs to keep improving and every year be better, because where is the overflow going to be? They're going to be at home watching the stream because they can't get in. So for me, yeah, that stream and that product being better and improving on itself every year, and the production teams working out what failed, what works, what doesn't, and changing it for the following season, even for the following game if something goes wrong, is really where it is now, and getting people onto that platform.
Yeah, I think we actually saw there was an actual improvement, like an actual upgrade done on the actual streams themselves. And then yeah, I don't know. Yeah, obviously the production side of things is really important. At the moment, you've got different production companies doing it all around Australia. It does one thing that gets me, and I know that other people like it how it is. I really would love a consistent look and feel to streams around the league. Like I would like the same graphics used everywhere, because I think that's just another level of professionalism that we could get to, which fans would really look for. I think.
Yeah.
Just like two things just on that, Sean. Like when I was at Perth on the weekend, Chris Langille and Dave Ruck do an amazing job considering where they've got to commentate the game from. It's up in the corner. You sort of don't have a great sight line. So they do a great job with their stream considering what they have to deal with. But talking to people in Perth across the weekend, and not necessarily with the Thunder, but people who coach and are part of like junior systems and stuff within Ice Hockey Australia, they said to me that they need a second Perth team in the AI. That's like the appetite of Perth hockey, like how many players there are, and the appetite for playing and supporting hockey in Perth is they think that Perth can hold a second AI team. So the sport's growing. The sport is growing, but it's just it's the same old story, I suppose. It's the facilities, isn't it?
I think it's the same with Brisbane, right? Like you look at Brisbane, their barn is tiny. They absolutely pack it out because they put on a good show. There's a great product there. The team is brilliant. It's managed well, and you could definitely fill a barn much larger than that for people who want to go watch hockey in Brisbane. And I think Brisbane's also one of those places that eventually you could have two teams if you had the proper facilities for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely
agree.
So yeah. Anyway, there were another couple of comments here. So one from George Taz, Mustangs dark horse tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Out of finals, anybody can beat anyone. The Mustangs could definitely win. They've actually shown a lot of spirit the last few weeks. There was this sort of period in amongst their losing streak where they just looked lost. They didn't even look like they knew what they wanted to do, and then they finally seemed to get it together, and they got some important wins and they got them over the line. I'm hoping tomorrow, that they put on a great show, and players like Dunkley, come out and actually really lead the line for them because he's been important. Like he's important to them now.
And they'll get an injection of players tomorrow, I would think, if there's no injuries. So from last weekend, there was no Ty Wishart, no Brad Apps, Anthony Kimlin possibly back in to goals who wasn't there.
I've heard that Kimlin could be in tomorrow.
Yeah, so they're going to get an injection of really quality players. Like Dean Klomp was playing sort of that defender role on the power play, which would usually be sort of a Ty Wishart sort of thing last weekend. And Klomp did a great job considering he's not a defender at the end of the day. So they'll get an injection of players. Yeah, so that definitely there could be a dark horse for sure.
Yeah, and it's also, they also had Tyrell Clare cleared, so he's going to be playing, which is massive for them as well, for the defensive lines. And, but they will miss McRoy, who is suspended tomorrow. I know that, that is a big loss because he only just came back as well. But, they've got quality in amongst their team. There was a reason why they were like preseason favorites, right? Like they had a lot of great quality players there. It's it's just been hard since, especially losing Timmins to injury, that it's takes a bit of time to adjust.
And just one more thing, and I had a chat to him after the game, and I mentioned this show, how he's in demand now since he appeared on the show. Mike Georgie shows up on this show and then goes out and scores a goal. And then I said to Mike, I go, you must have felt good. And he said, why is that? I said, because you started to dangle your way in after you scored your first goal and you wanted more. So he was feeling good after appearing on this show.
Excellent.
It's what this show does, right?
Can only hope. It's gone wrong a few times, so an upward trajectory. To move us forward a little bit, I'm going to throw us to every year the finals present awards to top members of the league, and we've all put some predictions together. So do we want to chat about who we've picked and why?
Sure. All right. Diggy, you want to start first with your picks?
MVP Tanner Hops, unreal season, 5th highest in points in league history. You just wonder where the Lightning would be without Tanner Hops in his season. So yeah, unreal. Matt Clark, defender for the Brave. I think Matt Clark's awesome. I think a really solid defender. It really stood out to me amongst all the defenders that I watch, sort of week in, week out, either live or across the stream. Goaltender of the year is Alexei Toivonen. I mentioned it before. 2 shutouts. The only goaltender this season with 2 shutouts. But to do that, get 14 wins, I think. But flying in and out, and not only flying in and out, but like traveling to different parts of the country while sort of not being with your team. I think that it's just an amazing performance from Toivonen. So that was my goaltender of the year. Rookie of the year, a bit of a Mustangs favorite, Artem Astafiev. I think Artem's going to be absolutely unreal for the Mustangs in the future. And the funny thing is, I think as the career goes on, his points are going to increase, and his brother Max is a really good player as well. But the one thing, and I mentioned it to Brett Parker when I was at the arena last week, and he's got a bit of bite about him. So I think it was Rob Hazelhurst was on the ice at one stage, and sort of Artem just sort of strolled past towards the bench and gave him a little bit of a knock with the leg. And Rob got up to sort of say, hey, what's going on? And Artem didn't even acknowledge him and kept going to the bench. So I sort of like that sort of stuff, a bit of an edge to his game.
Well,
it's pretty cool.
Kind of like that too, right?
Yeah. So I like that from a young guy. I think it's pretty cool. And Matt Caruana, who's just been outstanding, the Australian of the year. It's the job that Mac's done, not only just taking over the captaincy and all that sort of stuff, just the points production, and was sitting in the top 10, the only Aussie in there for a while. You might have finished in there in that top 10. Yeah, just an outstanding season. And obviously Kerry Goulet has really turned it around. The first season when Kerry came into the competition, it was like, wow, what's going to happen here? And it just sort of didn't work. But Kerry goes away every pre-season, off-season, and works harder and continues to learn as a coach. And 2 seasons in a row, it's been really good. And this season, unreal.
Yeah, the fruits of his labor are definitely turned up this season. Courtney, what about yours?
Look, I went with Hops too, because when you're getting 80 points for your team, you're clearly working hard. It's not a league where you can just skate through people. He's shown himself to be someone that stepped up to the plate when they needed him, and that to me is worth the MVP. So yeah, very much agree with Doogie's points as well. He's just been a solid player for the Lightning. So yeah, I put him there. It was impossible for me to go past Ethan Hawes as the defenseman. He's had a great season. He's had on and off games, but when he's on, he's so switched on. And I've always had his praises sung by the coaches and his teammates here in Newcastle. But even when I'm watching the stream, the commentators are constantly praising his work ethic, the way he moves, and he's just incredible to watch. The way he can move his feet and get around people, just he's so good. So he was an easy pick. Oberoi is just a standout for me because he stands up to so many shots against every game, and doesn't look like he loses his cool. He just calm head, lovely guy, and the way he plays is what really stands out. He's on for every moment, doesn't let it get to him. Maybe it does behind closed doors, but that to me is just a standout goalie. Rookie, I went for another Rhinos player in Gustav Remler Jensen. He's stood out again in games that I've watched of theirs. As just a junior player that's found his groove, works really well with his line. He was even playing in the top 2 lines for a while there towards the end of the season. I think there are a lot of injuries that took players out, and he had a fresh role and did a great job of it. So that was that. Yeah, he was one that I thought of immediately when I saw that as an award. Australian for me, Dmitry Kuleshov, just you can't go past him. He's put up points. He skates incredibly well. plays hard every week, and has been another one of those Rhinos that's been a crucial player for them this season, and been really good to see him get that chance to play with the Ice Dogs out. So, that's why I picked him. And Coach for me was a tricky one because it's not something I pay that much attention to outside of the North Stars. So, but the results are there. The team's winning, they're getting the job done, and for me, that often comes from that leadership in the team, but from coach. So, we all picked Kerry for a reason.
Yeah. So I'll go through mine. Yeah, I definitely agree first. Yeah, with both of you guys picked very good lineups there. Like there's good reasons for any of these players being to get these awards. And that DK, I'm always impressed by DK every single season, and he just seems to be building more and more. So yeah, good Australian. But yeah, I'm going to start with Hikosaka for MVP. I just think this season he has been so spectacular in so many parts where he's literally, I would say, almost carried Perth into points and wins off the back of his goal scoring. He's just been so impactful. I just think, I've just thought he has to be MVP for me. Defenseman of the year, I went with Braid Crowder. I'm so impressed because he didn't start the very start of the season in the league. Obviously, Sydney Ice Dogs player, came across as a loan. He just made such a difference to the Canberra Brave defensive units. They became a lot more solid once he came in. But not only that, he also has great offensive talent, as well as defensively, and he gets up there. He scores goals. He's so important on power plays and on special teams. Just a great impact this season in the capital. And then goaltenders, I've gone with Ishida. I mean, he's probably the most consistent goaltender for the last 2 seasons in a row. I was surprised he didn't win last year. I would definitely pick him this season. He just every week he's just so solid. His athleticism, everything about him, I just absolutely love Ishida. Except for when he loses his cool. He's just got to not lose his cool as often. Then we've got rookie. I've gone with Dominic Trinket. Now, this guy has impressed me so much this season. Every time I watched Adelaide, he's not one, a lot of rookies don't get a lot of ice time, but I feel like every time Trinket was on the ice, he made plays, he scored goals, he got assists. He was, again, like the others, very impactful for the time that he was on. And I just think he's had a tremendous season, as much as his brother had a tremendous season in Brisbane in goals. Australian, I also went with Caruana. Just like Doogie, having that C, leading that team to, all of these such dominant season that they've had. And he scores so many points now, last 3 seasons in a row. He's just been consistent. He's been phenomenal. And I couldn't go past him really. I did like DK as an option, and there were a few others. I'm pretty sure Casey Kabara would have been in the frame as well. But Caruana, what a legend. And then Coach Goulet, again, just the dominant. You can't have this dominant season and not think, the coach isn't a big part of that, because he is, and he has built this team over three years now, getting better every season. And this year it's all come together.
I love how you've got 3 different faces of Goulet there too. That's awesome.
I know. Yeah, it's good.
I think everyone in our lists are very deserving of the recognition. So it'll be interesting. I'll be waiting to see, obviously, who gets the awards and if any of us are right. But I think
and I know that they're going to be announced throughout the weekend. So They're not all together at the same time, and there will also be a finals MVP announced after the grand final as well.
Cool. Look, to sort of head towards wrapping up, I did just want to touch on your platforms, Doogie, and your morning hockey shot, and just how this season's gone for you. And as we said at the start, it's a bit of a grind. We've all done what we've had to do this year to get this sport out there a bit more. But tell us a bit more about your platforms and where people can go to follow you and keep in touch for all the ADub content that will be just around the corner.
Yeah, Australian Women's Ice Hockey League, not far away. I think us independents, so myself, Oz Hockey Media, Network Hockey, and I really believe this. Without us independents, there is no ESPN knocking on the door. There is no other media orgs knocking on the door of the sport and the AI here. Like the work that we all do to help put the sport on the map in terms of media, and it's volunteer stuff. Like just that needs to be made clear. I think that it's all volunteer work. We don't make money. We do this out of the love of the sport. And we have full-time jobs and families and all that sort of stuff. And it is a grind, Courtney, and you would know that too because you're doing a lot of work with Oz Hockey Media and you're also involved with the North Stars. But it's been good for the past season with my platform, which is andrewkmacdougall.com.au. Same Andrew K. McDougall across the socials, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and the Morning Hockey Shot. It was funny when I launched the Morning Hockey Shot, I actually didn't know who would be awake at 9 a.m. in the morning. It was an idea that I'd seen another show in Canada that was doing it daily at 9 a.m. And I thought to myself, we could do something like that here. And my idea was to get media people on as well, not so much players. You guys had that covered here with getting a guest on a play. I thought maybe get a media person to come on and have a chat about the team that they cover, which is maybe a Chris Langill, or even Sean appeared as a brave sort of person, just to talk about their team and sort of not really focus on the overall, I suppose, the league and a few pinpoints. But yeah, people tuned in, which was pretty cool, and got a few comments and sort of gained a bit of traction, which I'm not sure what will happen with that in the A-Dub season. I know that we've all sort of been talking about doing things together and collaborating, which I think is pretty cool. But yeah, it's been cool to have another season of covering the AI and trying to get as many articles as I can out there and thoughts and things like that. But that's where they can find me at andrewkmacdougall.com.au or Andrew K. McDougall across the socials if they want to subscribe and follow and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I must admit, I've absolutely loved your show on Saturday mornings. It does cover a different side of our hockey here and our environment that we all work in, and love, support all of this. And yeah, I think it really complemented like what we did with the players and you did on the other side. I think it just really worked. And and hearing people from like Eric Bollner and it was just great hearing these guys and seeing them in a show and getting their insights into things, because often you might just hear their voice and that's it. So you're actually getting to know some people. It's really great.
And
I think across the season, it was really cool between us all. Like we had the players, as you said, you had the media. It just brought a new insight to our podcast. Like it wasn't just the same old, Sean and I and like analyzing the games and what we liked, what we don't. We're getting a whole different view of those games, which I thought was just valuable to the fans as well. So.
Yeah, and I thought like I'd instead of obviously going through the results and things like in the standings, like in depth, like you guys do every week, I had a few points there. Maybe it was from my weekly article that I would just touch on before I got into the guest and things like that. But when you got people like Chris Langill getting up at 7 a.m. Perth time to jump on at 9 a.m. Eastern time, like it's pretty cool, and it's you just got to appreciate those people who just love the sport and want to do everything they can to help promote it.
Speaking of, Chris has just dropped a comment, makes a great point. Don't forget Lee Collins, the Ice Hockey News Australia. Yeah, Lee just works his butt off with those articles and updates. So, yeah, very much he's a big part of.
I would call it the encyclopedia of what happens every single season in the AIHL.
Yeah.
And A-Dub and other hockey in Australia, like national teams, state level stuff. Like he does a huge amount of work on that website. He used to do a lot of the Wikipedia stuff, and then I kind of took that on, and he moved more and more into his own website, which has just been phenomenal. So yeah, anyone, if you're ever looking for, information about transfers, for, who's on what roster, who are imports, all that sort of stuff, it's on his website. So yeah, Ice Hockey News Australia. It's great. There are quite
Just
a few
a couple
other
of really lovely comments.
Which one should we go to next? Courtney?
Go to Julie. We're a big fan of Julie Sugden, from Brisbane Lightning. We appreciate you too, Julie. And hopefully I'll see you at finals. I'll keep an eye out for you.
We also got Steve Muller here. Great work all season, guys. Looking forward to the OHM postseason review. Yeah, well, if the people demand it, we might produce it. That'll be fun. We'll get the band back together again, right? We got Lisa Medlock here. Thanks for all the hard work this year. Let's go Thunder and Inferno. Yeah, Perth, they're going to be well represented. And Anthony here. Yeah, cheers, Doogie, for doing a show at 1 a.m. Good old Anthony. Yes. He also says Hockey Night in Australia, your weekly motivator. Well, we try. We try. If players get motivated for coming on here, that's great.
Yeah.
We'll have everyone on eventually, and then they'll all be very motivated to work each week. Anthony, yeah. He leans towards Hikosaka for MVP, and the fact that Hop scores a lot of goals is clearly good, but the Lightning haven't been as impactful. So yeah, I think that's why I leant towards Hikosaka as well. But yeah, I wouldn't say the Lightning themselves aren't impactful. They've been impactful this season. Seeing them come down to the AIS arena and just absolutely rock that arena was interesting. So yeah, they can do it, and they can do it on the big stage. Yeah, I think that's we got another Jay Taylor. Let's go Thunder. So yeah, lots of Perth fans listening in. So that's awesome.
Excellent. So do we have any final thoughts, guys?
Start with Doogie.
Just enjoy your hockey. Enjoy the finals weekend because it's a long off season. Like it's months and months and months. I'm obviously I got the hat on. I'm a Calgary Flames fan, and I'm itching to see the Flames get back. And it's not as long as an off season as the Australian Ice Hockey League. So
yeah.
if you're watching on AITV or ESPN or wherever you're watching, or if you're heading to the rink, I'm looking forward to catching up with you, Courtney. Tomorrow and Saturday. I won't be there for the final, unfortunately, but I'm looking forward to the next 2 days. If you're going to the hockey, enjoy it, enjoy the atmosphere, and hopefully we can get some new ice hockey fans or even potential players. They might watch the finals and tell mum and dad, hey, I want to play that sport. It's pretty cool. Yeah. So that's what it's all about. Enjoy the weekend. Yeah,
and look at this, like Nicholas Scala here. Hi from Madrid. I started watching the AIHL this season. Really appreciate the passion volunteers bring. It makes it easy to follow, even from the other side of the world. That's awesome. Thanks for joining in, Nicholas. Like that, and thanks for following the league. Like it's so much fun seeing people from all parts of the world tuning into the Australian hockey because yeah, it's a great league to follow. Lots of passion around the league. Fans are fanatical, and yeah. It just keeps getting better and better every season. Yeah. My very final thoughts was, I know we haven't mentioned it tonight. There is going to be a fan zone at Districts Dockland if anyone's around Melbourne. And, whether you do have tickets or don't have tickets to O'Brien Ice House for the actual finals themselves, you can go there. You can watch the games at... What's the brewery called?
Urban Alley.
Urban Alley. Thank you. Escaping my mind. And they're going to have it on the big screen, ESPN on the weekend and AIHL TV on Friday. And then, they're going to have activities happening. It should be a lot of fun and a lot of exciting times. Like, I love the idea of having a fan zone outside. I think that's brilliant. I think that should become a permanent feature of any finals that we have anywhere.
So I've got just two things to wrap with. One being, if you see me at finals and you recognize me from this podcast, please come and say hello, because that's a lot of fun for me, knowing that you've been watching and that you recognize me, because that's just fun. So please don't hesitate to come say hi. I'm very friendly and I like a hug, so feel free. But the big point is, while we've been on this podcast and chatting away about finals, there has been a joint statement from the AIHL and Canberra Brave. It is on the Brave socials. I don't know if Sean has got the ability to whip it up onto the screen, but they have made an announcement about... they have settled it to allow Canuck to play as a domestic player for finals, so they will not be affected as far as the input rules and the points. And but jump on the Brave socials to read it in depth. I think, Doogie, you spotted it as well. Did you have any thoughts you want to throw up about that?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. While I was sitting here, I had a few messages going off on the phone, which is what alerted me to it. So I don't know if Sean can actually if he can grab it or whatever while we're talking, but there's a third paragraph here, which is pretty interesting. The parties also agreed as part of the settlement that all other teams in the AIHL have the opportunity to contract with a player that fits into the same category as Mr. Canuck. That is, each team in the AIHL can contract with and play on the ice an additional player for the remainder of the 2025 regular season and final series of the Australian Ice Hockey League competition. So no long as that player holds dual citizenship with New Zealand and another country and is not presently eligible to play for the New Zealand national ice hockey team under the International Ice Hockey Federation eligibility requirements.
So essentially, if they're a Kiwi with a Kiwi passport, you're going to be okay.
Yep.
Regardless if you're eligible for their national team or not.
Yep.
Yep. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's pretty clear. Well,
and I think it's nice to just see a very transparent, clear message too. They've got to the point. They've told us what's happened. So, if you want to read the rest of it, it's not much more than that. Jump on the Canberra Brave socials. They have shared it there.
Yeah, it's on their website as well.
So
the other thing I wanted to say just before you go is I just want to give a huge shout out, not just to everyone else in the independent media side that covers the league, like Doogie and Parker and everyone at Hockey Network Hockey. I also want to say a big thank you to all of the photographers around the league this year and the other volunteers. They all do phenomenal work. It's just so much coordination every week. I know that we've been really good with the broadcasters this year. Like, we created a group for the broadcasters so that we could share information, improve everyone's information for broadcasts, on AIHL TV, and commentators are able to say per games. And it's been phenomenal effort by everyone this season. Thanks everyone.
Excellent. Well, I am very much looking forward to finals, and we will be back next week for the final hockey night in Australia for the AIHL season, wrapping up all of our thoughts and opinions and any milestones. Anything happens at finals, we're going to have a chat about it next week. So have a great weekend. Watch as much hockey as you can, because it's going to be fantastic to watch, and we will see you next week.
See you all.
Bye.
Thank you.